Good afternoon. Last year on December the 28th of 2015, the City of Hamilton lost a true hero, firefighter Patrick Wolterman, while fighting what turned out to be an arson fire on Pater Avenue. Today can only be described as bittersweet for us, as there's been an arrest made in Patrick's murder. In a moment, I'm going to turn the podium over to Hamilton Police Chief Craig Bucheit, who will provide more information regarding the arrest. But at this time, I want to thank several people and organizations for their tireless dedication to justice. I'd like to thank our federal, state, and local partners from the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the Ohio State Fire Marshal's Office, and the investigators from the City of Hamilton Fire Department, all who brought a wealth of knowledge and technical experience to the fire investigation. Thanks to Mike Mosier and his team from the staff at the Butler County Prosecutor's Office. And most importantly, I want to thank the investigation section of the City of Hamilton Police Department. I've said it before, but you guys are truly second to none. Thank you. I'd also like to thank the Wolterman family and the men and women of the Hamilton Fire Department. I told you both from the beginning that we have the finest investigators in the country working on this case, and that it was going to take some time. You never wavered in your belief that we would be standing here today to hold someone accountable for this horrendous act. You fully supported the investigators in this case, and you gave them time to bring this to fruition. This was the most extensive investigation in my 32 years with the City of Hamilton Police Department. Thank you to the Wolterman family, and thank you to the men and women of the Hamilton Fire Department. This time I'd like to turn the podium over to Chief Craig Bucheit of the Hamilton Police Department.
Good afternoon. I stood here a year ago and declared that the fire at 1310 Pater Avenue that claimed the life of firefighter Patrick Wolterman was a criminal act, that it was arson. I pledged then that we would tirelessly examine every piece of evidence, pursue every lead, and work every angle of the investigation until we brought those responsible to justice. For the past year, I've witnessed a handful of our investigators deliver on that pledge. They've worked tirelessly to bring the truth to light, and in doing so, have amassed an overwhelming amount of evidence. For 2 days last week, they presented that evidence to the Butler County Grand Jury. As a result, earlier today, the grand jury returned indictments of aggravated arson and murder for 66-year-old Lester Parker, the homeowner where the fire occurred. As of this afternoon, Parker has been arrested and he is in our custody. Even after a year, this case is still a very active investigation, and I'm confident this will not be the last arrest. Like Director Scramisi, I too would like to thank our local, state, and federal partners who've assisted us in this investigation. We're incredibly grateful for their invaluable assistance. Finally, I want to acknowledge our own Hamilton police investigators whose individual contributions and collective efforts led us here today. I'm incredibly proud of them. It was their hard work, dedication, and persistence that delivered on the pledge that I made on behalf of our department, a pledge to deliver justice. Justice for Patrick, for his family, for his fellow firefighters, and for our community. At this time, I'd like to introduce Hamilton Fire Department Chief Dawson.
Thank you. It's been almost a year since that horrific morning when we lost firefighter Patrick Wolterman. During that year, the Hamilton Fire Department has continued to grieve, and we've continued to try to recover from that event. Also during that year, we never lost faith in the Hamilton Police Department. So I really want to thank Chief Bucheit and his team for following through with this, for their persistence, and for not giving up. And also acknowledge the State Fire Marshal's Office and the ATF for their involvement also. In all of this, though, I think what we should remember is the Wolterman family. A husband was lost, a son and brother were taken. So please continue to remember the Wolterman family in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
At this time, Chief Deputy Jeff Hussey of the State Fire Marshal's Office.
Good afternoon. I'm Jeff Hussey. I'm the Chief Deputy with the State Fire Marshal's Office. Our office is very pleased to have secured an indictment in this case. This outcome is thanks to the great teamwork of our investigators, Hamilton Police, Hamilton Fire, and other assisting agencies. And we know these relationships are invaluable. We take it personally when one of our own is killed, and since last December, I know all agencies have been working towards this outcome today. We will continue to work hand in hand with all agencies involved in this case as it continues through the judicial process. Our goal is to continue to protect the integrity of this case, of our cause and origin investigation, and because of that, details surrounding our arson ruling will not be released until that process is complete. Be assured that our investigators are committed to seeing this case through, and we want to thank all agencies involved Be assured our investigators are committed to seeing this case through, and we want to thank all agencies, again, involved in their role in this case. Thank you.
At this time, before we close, I'll take a few questions.
You can't talk about details surrounding the arson. Can you talk about motive?
So the question is, can we talk about motive in the case? And no, at this time, that's something that's going to come out at trial.
The homeowner was thought to be in Las Vegas at the time with his wife. Was he not? Did he not make it to Las Vegas, or was that all a scam? What was that?
Well, again, that's part of the investigation, and I think those are the details that we plan to present at trial. Again, there's an overwhelming amount of evidence, and it's a very complex investigation. We look forward to presenting that and clearing it up at trial.
Is he cooperating, or has he admitted?
He has cooperated during the investigation, and he is currently in custody here at the facility at this time.
When did he become the guy you were zeroing in on? Right from the beginning, or did it take a while? Or?
This has been a year-long investigation, and there's been a lot of information, a lot of leads, dozens of interviews, and a lot of evidence to collect and process. So at exactly what point, I don't know, but it's something that this investigation has steadily built over the past nearly 12 months.
Do you have any other persons of interest in this case right now? You said you don't believe it's an only arrest.
Like I said, it's still a year on, a very active investigation. I'm confident this won't be the last arrest, but more than that, I'm not going to say any more than that at this point.
Can you say how the fire was started?
I can't. I don't know that, Larry. That's something that, again, our investigators have pieced together, and I'm confident that they're going to be able to demonstrate that at trial and secure a conviction in this case, which we look forward to that opportunity.
Can you talk about, I guess, the extent in terms of the investigation, the amount of work that went into this? I know Scrimisi, when I talked to him last, he goes, not a day goes by where someone wasn't looking at this case. Can you kind of talk about what went into that?
Yes. There was a handful of investigators here at Hamilton Police Department that worked on this case continuously since last December and have not stopped. And it's just been a steady, slow, methodical process to build this case and to make sure that we had, as I said, followed every lead, exhausted every tip, and worked every angle of the investigation until we were confident that we had the evidence we needed. And I'm thankful to Mike Mosier and the Butler County Prosecutor's Office for taking the time to work with us to sit down and present this case last week for 2 days at grand jury and secure an indictment. Again, we look forward to presenting all the evidence at trial.
Did the reward come into play when solving this case?
It did not. So $25,000 reward, it's still active. There is still $25,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for this fire. I can tell you up to this point, there's been no claim made to that reward. It hasn't. That's not what led us to today. And I think that's interesting to note that what led us to today was that hard work, that persistence, the dedication of our investigators, and the good nature of the witnesses who knew information to come forward and provide that regardless of the reward.
Can you talk about his arrest? Was it today or?
It was this afternoon, just a few hours ago.
Where was he arrested?
I'm sorry?
Where was he arrested?
On Pater Avenue, where he lives.
Chief, you know who else you may be looking for? Do you have any idea on who those other individuals would be?
I'm not going to share that information right now.
Can you talk a little bit about, I guess the satisfaction, but also it's been a difficult year, especially when it's one of your own who lost their life in this fire. Can you just talk about, I guess, the emotions that went into this on all levels?
Sure. This was, as I said a year ago here at this podium, this loss hits close to home. It's a fellow member of our safety service community. It hits close to home, and we know what a loss this has been for Patrick's family, for his fellow firefighters, for our community, and that loss weighed heavily on our hearts and minds. But we've borne that that loss and that emotion through this 12 months, through this year, and I think that's helped spur and continue and keep us focused and drive, even when things seem to there was ups and downs like every investigation, and it kept our investigators pushing forward, and I can't tell you how proud I am of them, of their just dogged determination to see this through and deliver justice, and I'm just incredibly proud to stand here today to represent them and all their work that they did to make this possible.
I'm sure you talked to the Wolterman family. Have they expressed thanks or anything to you?
They're incredibly grateful. They're good people, and they've been through a lot, and we're just happy to deliver this small piece of comfort and closure to them. But they've been incredible to work with, just an amazing family.
About the charges, are these capital murder charges or just plain murder, not aggravated murder?
Yeah, it's aggravated arson and murder are the charges.
Did that possibly get the death penalty or?
No. Okay. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.